First Contact and Ultimatum. The sky above New York turned an unnatural shade of crimson as the alien vessels warped into Earth's atmosphere. Their arrival wasn't accompanied by thunder or dramatic vibrations, just an eerie silence as 12 disc-shaped ships, each larger than a small city, positioned themselves over major population centers around the globe. Admiral Eliza Chen stood on the deck of the U.S. Intrepid, her weathered face illuminated by the pulsing glow from the vessel hovering above Manhattan. 25 years in the United States Navy hadn't prepared her for this moment. No one on Earth was prepared. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission on all frequencies," Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, his voice steady despite the extraordinary circumstances. "They're broadcasting in perfect English." Chen nodded, straightening her uniform jacket. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with pearlescent blue skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies within them. The being wore an elaborate suit of what appeared to be liquid metal that flowed around its form. "People of Earth," the alien spoke, its voice melodious yet somehow mechanical. "I am High Ambassador Zoltar of the Galactic Collective, representing the unified governance of 73 intelligent species across 12,000 star systems. We have been observing your civilization for centuries. The time for your integration has arrived." Chen exchanged glances with Secretary General Okafor, who had joined her on the bridge via secure video link from the United Nations headquarters, currently under the shadow of another alien vessel. "Ambassador Zoltar," Okafor began, her Nigerian accent lending gravity to her words, "we welcome you to Earth and are interested in establishing peaceful relations with your collective. However, we do not understand what you mean by integration." The alien's expression didn't change, but something in those cosmic eyes hardened. "Integration is not optional, Secretary General. All civilizations that achieve certain technological thresholds are evaluated and brought into the collective. This is the natural order that has maintained peace for 50,000 years." Chen leaned forward. "And if we prefer independence?" Zoltar's gaze shifted to her, and Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "There is no independence," Zoltar stated flatly. "There is the collective, or there is extinction." Primitive species often fail to understand that their perceived freedom is merely chaos. The collective brings order, stability, and access to technologies beyond your comprehension. "At what cost?" Chen pressed. "Resources, knowledge, obedience," Zoltar listed dispassionately. "Your planet will contribute 30% of all mineral extraction, food production, and water reserves to the greater collective. Your military forces will be disbanded. Your governance will be overseen by appointed collective administrators. In exchange, your people will receive protection, limited access to interstellar travel, and eventual citizenship after a probationary period of approximately 200 Earth years." Secretary General Okafor's expression remained diplomatic, but Chen could see the anger flashing in her eyes. "Ambassador, while we appreciate your generous offer, Earth must respectfully decline integration under these terms. We would instead propose opening diplomatic relations as equals." For the first time, Zoltar's composure faltered. The liquid metal of its suit rippled momentarily. "You decline?" The concept seemed genuinely foreign to the alien. "Perhaps I have failed to make myself clear. This is not a negotiation. The collective does not request, it commands. No species has ever refused integration." "Then we'll be the first," Chen said simply. Zoltar stared at them in what appeared to be genuine confusion. "Your species is young, barely spacefaring. You possess no significant defensive capabilities against our technology. Your refusal is illogical." "It's very human," Okafor replied with a thin smile. After a long pause, Zoltar spoke again, its voice colder. "You will have 30 Earth days to reconsider your position. Our ships will remain in position until then. Should you persist in this defiance, we will have no choice but to demonstrate the consequences." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving an uncomfortable silence on the bridge. Lieutenant Commander Jackson was the first to speak. Did we just tell a vastly superior alien force to go to hell? Yes, Chen replied. I believe we did. News of the encounter spread across the globe within hours. Instead of the panic the collective might have expected, humanity's response was unique. In Times Square, beneath the shadow of an alien ship, street vendors were already selling "Earth Says No" t-shirts. Social media exploded with memes mocking the aliens' ultimatum. In Tokyo, a popular band had already released a song called 30 Days to Freedom. In Washington, D.C., President Santos convened an emergency meeting of world leaders. Admiral Chen attended virtually from her command post in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, the president began. We face the greatest threat in human history. The collective clearly expects us to capitulate out of fear, and their expectations would be reasonable, said Premier Zhao of China, his expression grim. Our most advanced weapons would likely be useless against their technology. Then we must develop new weapons, responded Director Patil of the Indian Space Research Organization. 30 days is not much time, but humanity has always been most innovative when facing destruction. Chancellor Meyer of the European Union nodded in agreement. The collective has made a critical error. They've given us time to prepare, and more importantly, they've given all of humanity a common enemy. Admiral Chen listened to the discussion, noting how quickly former adversaries were aligning their interests. The Russian president was offering military resources to Japan. The United States and China were discussing joint space operations. The Middle Eastern Coalition was offering its oil reserves to fuel the coming effort. Admiral Chen, President Santos said, turning attention to the screen where she appeared. You've had the most direct contact with these aliens. What's your assessment? Chen took a moment to collect her thoughts. They're arrogant, and they're surprised. I don't think any species has ever simply said no to them before. Their technology is certainly advanced, but there was something in Ambassador Zolter's reaction that suggests they've grown complacent. They don't expect resistance, which means they may not be prepared for it. You think we can fight them? Asked the Brazilian president skeptically. I think we can surprise them, Chen replied. And I think there's something they're not telling us. Why give us 30 days? If they wanted to destroy us, they could likely do it immediately. They want something from Earth, something they can't simply take by force. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Whatever we do, Chen continued, we need to present a unified front. No nation acting alone. And we need to be unpredictable. That seems to be something they struggle with. President Santos nodded. Then let's get to work. As of this moment, all international conflicts are suspended. We have 30 days to show these aliens what humanity does when backed into a corner. Dr. Marcus Rivera didn't look up from his quantum processor when the laboratory door slid open. He'd been working for 72 hours straight, and sleep was a distant memory. Unless you've brought coffee strong enough to wake the dead, I'm not interested, he mumbled, adjusting a microscopic circuit with his nanomanipulators. How about classified alien tech data? Admiral Chen's voice cut through his concentration. Rivera spun in his chair, nearly knocking over his equipment. Admiral, I didn't expect. Clearly, Chen said with a hint of amusement, taking in his disheveled appearance and the chaos of the lab. How's progress? Rivera ran a hand through his unkempt hair. The quantum shield prototype is showing promise. We can generate a field that disrupts matter-energy transmission on a subatomic level. In theory, it could deflect their weapons, whatever they might be. But we've only managed to shield a volume the size of a basketball, and it consumes enough energy to power Manhattan. Chen placed a data drive on his desk. This might help. Our intelligence teams have been analyzing the alien ship's energy emissions. There's something unusual about their propulsion systems. They're incredibly advanced, but also inefficient in certain frequencies. Rivera's eyes widened as he scanned the data. This is incredible. They're using quantum entanglement for instant communication, but there's a harmonic vulnerability in their shield frequencies. If we can exploit that. Can you do it? Chen interrupted. In 27 days. Rivera laughed nervously. 27 days to develop a defense against technology thousands of years ahead of ours. Impossible. Chen's expression didn't change. That's not what I asked, Doctor. Rivera stared at the data, his mind already racing through possibilities. I'll need more resources, teams working around the clock, and access to the global quantum computing network. You'll have it. Anything else? Rivera hesitated, then looked up at Chen with determination. Pizza. Lots of pizza. For the first time in days, Chen smiled. I'll make it happen. Halfway across the world, in a secret facility beneath the Gobi Desert, General Lin of the Chinese Space Force watched as engineers assembled what might be humanity's first line of defense. The Americans are sharing their quantum shield research, he told the gathered officers. The Europeans have developed kinetic impact weapons that might penetrate alien hulls. Our contribution will be these. He gestured to the hundreds of small, hexagonal devices being loaded into launch vehicles. Solar-powered, autonomous, and equipped with the most advanced AI we could develop. Once in orbit, they will form a network capable of analyzing and potentially disrupting collective communications. If we cannot match their firepower, we will attack their ability to coordinate. A young officer raised her hand. Sir, what if they detect the deployment? Lin's expression was grim. Then they will learn that humanity does not wait passively for destruction. In orbit above Earth, aboard the collective command vessel, High Ambassador Zoltar reported to the Supreme Director, a being composed entirely of shifting light patterns. The humans have refused integration, Zoltar stated. Their response was unexpected. The light patterns pulsed in what might have been agitation. All species refuse at first. Their acceptance will come with a demonstration of power. This species is different, Zoltar insisted. They show no signs of appropriate fear. Instead, they appear defiant, even amused, and our sensors detect unusual activity. Energy signatures, manufacturing surges, communications patterns unlike any we've seen before. They are preparing to resist, the Supreme Director concluded. This is futile, but not unprecedented. There is something else, Zoltar added hesitantly. Our preliminary scans of their information networks reveal thousands of fictional scenarios involving alien invasions. This species has been imagining conflict with extraterrestrial civilizations for centuries. They have practiced this moment in their cultural consciousness. The Supreme Director's lights dimmed momentarily, a sign of deep consideration. Interesting. Perhaps this integration will require a more thorough approach. Continue monitoring. If their preparations exceed acceptable parameters, you are authorized to accelerate the timetable. Understood, Supreme Director, Zoltar acknowledged. Though privately, the ambassador felt an unfamiliar sensation, something the humans might recognize as doubt. 20 days into the 30-day ultimatum, Admiral Chen stood in the Global Command Center established beneath the Rocky Mountains. Around her, representatives from every nation monitored Earth's hastily assembled defenses. Satellite deployment is at 87%, reported Commander Rodriguez of the Latin American Space Coalition. The disruption network will be operational within 48 hours. The quantum shields have been successfully tested at city scale, added Dr. Tanaka from Japan. We've modified the technology to create localized defensive bubbles over major population centers. Power consumption remains problematic, but we've developed rotating shield patterns that should protect critical infrastructure. Chen nodded, studying the holographic display showing Earth's unprecedented preparations. In just 20 days, humanity had achieved technological advances that might otherwise have taken decades. The threat of extinction had eliminated bureaucratic obstacles, national rivalries, and funding limitations. And Project Artemis? She asked. General Okonkwo from Nigeria stepped forward. The lunar facility is operational, Admiral, if Earth's defenses fail, the ARC ships can launch with 50,000 colonists. Enough genetic diversity to preserve our species. Mars colony has also expanded its self-sufficiency capabilities and can now function completely independent from Earth support. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Chen said quietly. Secretary General Okafor entered the command center, her expression somber. Admiral, we've received another communication from the collective. They're requesting a meeting, in person this time. Chen exchanged glances with Okafor. They're getting nervous. Yes, Okafor agreed. Perhaps they expected us to be huddled in fear, not building defenses. Will you represent us again? Chen straightened her uniform. It would be my honor, Madam Secretary. The meeting took place aboard the collective vessel hovering above the Atlantic Ocean. Chen was transported up in a beam of blue light, finding herself in a cavernous chamber that seemed to defy the ship's external dimensions. High Ambassador Zoltar awaited her, accompanied by 3 other alien beings of different species, one appearing reptilian, another gaseous, and a third resembling an insectoid creature. Admiral Chen, Zoltar greeted her. We are concerned by your species' activities. Chen maintained a neutral expression. We're preparing for all contingencies, Ambassador, as any prudent civilization would. Your preparations exceed defensive measures, stated the reptilian being. We have detected weapon systems being deployed in orbit and beyond. Can you blame us? Chen asked simply. You've threatened our extinction. Zoltar's cosmic eyes narrowed. The collective does not threaten. It simply states facts. Your defiance is unprecedented and, frankly, disturbing to the established order. Perhaps the established order needs disturbing, Chen suggested. 73 species under your control, contributing resources, surrendering autonomy, all out of fear. Out of wisdom, corrected the gaseous entity, its voice emanating from a translator device. The galaxy is dangerous. Unified governance ensures survival. Chen looked around at the alien delegation. And who governs the governors? An uncomfortable silence followed her question. Your species has 10 more days to accept integration, Zoltar finally said. Your preparations, while impressive for such a young civilization, cannot hope to withstand the full might of the collective. Chen smiled slightly. You know, there's something we humans like to say. Don't make threats you're not prepared to carry out. This is not a threat, Zoltar insisted. It is inevitability. Then why the meeting? Chen asked. Why not simply wait for the deadline? Unless you're concerned about something. The aliens exchanged glances that confirmed Chen's suspicion. You should know, Chen continued, that we've taken precautions. Even if you destroy Earth, humanity will survive. We have colonies, ARC ships, contingencies you haven't detected. And we've broadcast everything we know about the collective to every corner of space we can reach. If we fall, others will know your methods. This was partly a bluff. The colonies existed but were vulnerable, and humanity's ability to broadcast interstellar messages was limited. But something in the aliens' reactions told Chen her words had hit home. You risk the stability of the entire galaxy with your defiance, Zoltar said, but there was a new note in its voice. Something almost like uncertainty. Or perhaps we offer the galaxy something it has forgotten. Chen countered. Freedom. Choice. The right of every intelligent species to determine its own destiny. She stepped closer to Zoltar. 10 days remain. Use them wisely, Ambassador, because humanity's answer will not change, and we will be ready for whatever comes next. With that, Chen signaled she was ready to return to Earth, leaving the collective representatives in stunned silence. As the blue light enveloped her, Admiral Eliza Chen allowed herself a moment of doubt. Humanity had accomplished miracles in 20 days, but would it be enough? The collective had thousands of years of technological advantage. Yet as she materialized back on Earth, Chen looked up at the alien ship hovering above and felt something unexpected, hope. Because for all their advanced technology, the collective had revealed something crucial today. They didn't understand humans. They couldn't predict what humanity would do when threatened. And in that unpredictability lay Earth's greatest strength.